We'll be starting off with the use case presentation by the Motilal Oswal team. We have two use cases and that will be followed by the Q&A. So please take this as an opportunity to get your queries clarified, to the maximum level that you can, because based on this, you'll be submitting your the pitch templates for the demo day. We'll also be recording this session and we'll share it with you post the event so that you have it for reference. So yes, welcome to the Makathon Reverse Pitch. Makathon is by the Motilal Oswal Group in association with NASSCOM 10,000 Startups. And through this, we aim to bring together the top startups to solve the use cases on digital client acquisition and activation. So we have 4 speakers from the leadership team of Motilal Oswal here with us today. Shishupal Rathore, who's the Senior VP for Technology, Apurva Chowdhury, Senior VP and Head for Online Business, Parth Bhatt, who's the Assistant Manager for Corporate Strategy, and Nivesh Sanghvi, who's the VP for Business and Technology. We'll be addressing the 2 use cases on increasing the number of mobile app signups and end-to-end DMAC account opening. And the second one is mobile logins and activation. So over to you, to the Motilal Oswal team, to please take us to the use cases.
Hi, good afternoon, guys. This is Apurva. Well, today I'll be taking you through certain data points and certain trends in the broking industry, which will help you understand as to firstly why we have chosen these 2 use cases and why are these cases so important for us. So let's start quickly. Okay, so I wanted to go through this first data set. What this shows is basically the total number of DMAT accounts which the industry is opening over the period of last 8-10 years. So we had around 21 million accounts in 2013, which has now grown to 69 million accounts in 2021. Now, if you see the major growth, which has started after the pandemic. Okay, so FY20, if you see, so 40 million accounts were opened, and it suddenly jumped to 55.1 million. So 15 million accounts increase in a single year. Now, the best part is, or rather, the biggest opportunity lies here. So this FY21 55 million accounts are actually till March 21, right? So in the last 3 months, April, May, June, we have reached a figure of 69 million. So last whole year, there was a jump of 15 million accounts, whereas in last 3 months itself, there is a jump of 15 million accounts. So firstly, though, the pandemic has given a huge boost, in the retail participation in the broking industry. So the statistics say, see, the growth opportunity is huge because currently in India, the equity penetration is just 4% of the total population, whereas the growing markets or the developed markets like China, it's 11%, and in US it's 32%. So obviously that's the minimum benchmark where the Indian markets should reach, and that's the that's the kind of growth which the broking industry is looking forward to. So there are various factors of for this kind of a growth. So firstly, this equity penetration is increasing. Secondly, the new generation which we have today, these millennials, okay, which have now become the working population of India, these are the risk-taking generation, unlike the earlier ones. So all these people are entering the stock markets. Fortunately or unfortunately, the other asset classes, something like FD, gold, real estate, all these asset classes, these investment products, their returns are very less when it comes to the returns as far as as compared to the returns which the stock markets give. Then technology-wise, mobile and internet penetration in the country has grown drastically. And I'll also take you through that data, which has helped for this rapid growth. Apart from that, I don't know if you have noticed, but last 3-4 years, the broking industry, the companies in the broking industry, they have also started taking a lot of efforts in terms of everything. Let it be technology. So on the technology side, the broking companies are working on improving their eKYC, that is the account opening platform. They are improving their trading platforms. They are taking a lot of educational initiatives, so that these retail investors, they can educate these retail investors on the stock market. And you will also find broking industry or the companies in the broking industry, they have started advertising a lot, which was not seen, say 3-4 years back. Recently, I don't know. I'm sure you guys must have been following IPL, so you must have seen companies like Upstox, companies like Grow. All these people were advertising very heavily on television during IPL. So that's how the growth of the broking industry is, and that's how we foresee the growth. This slide shows you the retail participation in the broking industry. So in the last 9 years, we had 42x growth, 42 times growth in the retail investors entering the market. So if you just read the headline above, 70% market share in AD2. AD2 is basically average daily turnover. So whatever the retail investors invest, so right, that value of that transaction or investment on the exchanges is called as turnover, right? So on an average, whatever the daily turnover used to be, okay, that was of the retail participants. It only used to be 11% in 2015, right? It was just 5-6 years back, and the rest 89% was a mix of FIIs and DIIs. So all the institutionals, foreign and domestic. Only 11% were retail investors in the market. But today, 70% of the turnover is from the retail investors, right? And only 30% is from the FIIs and DIIs. So that has shown, how the retail participation has gone up. And now, if you just see this data, you can see this line here, where between 2017 and 18, okay, so from 1.7 trillion of average turnover on a daily basis, it suddenly shot up to an average of 3.3. That's the biggest jump, right? And after that, it has grown, almost 1.5 times year on year. So that was the era, by the way, where digital broking picked up. This was the era some 3-4 years back when digital, what do you say? Everything became digital. So the transactions became digital. Earlier, the transactions were through an offline mode. Digital broking picked up. So then people started doing the transactions through mobile apps, web platforms, everything. So digital picked up from it. Even the account opening. So eKYC was introduced. SEBI allowed e-sign in this era. So digital broking picked up from here. So that's the era and how it has grown from there. So retail participation is huge. So that's the future of the country, the broking industry. Oh, this is one of the most important factor. The digital broking industry, I mean, it coincides, or rather, it has been helped, by the mobile data penetration. If you see the left side graph, it shows that how many percentage of mobile data subscribers versus the total, as percentage of the total subscribers. So, for example, in 2012, only 13% of the mobile subscribers were using mobile data. Okay, rest were not. Whereas this current year, it is 61%. Okay, and extrapolated, it is this is TRAI data, by the way, and it shows that in the next 4 years it should reach 76%. So rest of the phones are basically the non-smartphone category. So this is how the growth in the mobile data consumption has gone up. Again, here, if you see, the trend is similar as the last slide. Between 2017 and 18 is where you see the growth starting to come up. So before that, it was rather flat, 26, 29, 31, 34. But then after that, it has suddenly shot up 40, 53, 59, 61, 67, that way. So the digital era starts from 2017 and 18, somewhere between that. And the right side graph shows you that what is the average monthly data consumption per user in gigabytes. Okay. So here also you see the same trend, right? So between 17 and 18, so the average consumption used to be 1.3 GB per user, which has suddenly shot up. Today it is 14.6 GB, per user per month, and it will go up to 21 GB at least in the next 3 years. And the biggest learning here is that all this penetration, this increase in this penetration basically is coming through tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Okay, and this is actually the area where the broking industry has even started attracting the customers from. And basically, this is the future market for the broking industry, because this is where the growth will come from. These are certain points which we would like to highlight. So whenever you guys will come up with whatever solutions or ideas, we want you guys to keep these factors in mind, when you work upon the use cases. So the first most important point is that 80% of the retail investors are in the group of 18 to 36 years. Now this used to be very different 5-6 years back. The average, this age group was very different. It used to be between 28 to 45. This has reduced now. So more and more young people, more and more millennials now entering the market. So the average customer age has dropped down, and 80% are between 18 to 36 years. Second is 70% of the new investors who are onboarded are actually first-time investors. They've never ever invested in stock markets before. This is the first time they're investing. So 70% are the first timers. Only remaining 30% are, say, repeated investors or traders or whatever you may call them. 80% of new investors belong to the Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. So, extrapolating the second point, so 70% are new and 80% out of them are from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. And the last one is 85% of the new investors onboarded trade through the mobile app. The consumers, they do have, frankly, three options, right? One is the mobile app, one is the web portal, and second is obviously offline, which normally we call it as call and trade in our industry. So a person can call and then an offline trade can be placed by a dealer or an advisor. But 85% of these new investors who are onboarded, they trade by themselves through mobile apps. So this is basically the industry statistic, or rather, I would say this is the profiling of the client, which we are looking for, or rather, which is available right now. This is the persona of the client, basically. So, based on these statistics, basically, we devised our two use cases, where we think that we should be improving, and we see a lot of scope there. Frankly, for which we are looking out for, help from you guys. So this is the first use case, which is about the digital onboarding. Right now, this below graph shows this is the data of Motilal Oswal. Okay. So in 2015, 96.6% of the clients who opened account with us, right, those accounts were opened completely offline. Only 3.4% accounts were opened online through online mode, right? And then if you see, suddenly from 2020, this has started going up. And today, almost 55% of the accounts which we open are through the online mode and the online team. So this is the complete online onboarding, wherein the customer shows interest online. He completes the account opening process online on the eKYC platform. Everything is online. So, few years back it was a good to have thing, but now it has become a must to have thing, kind of a thing. This is how it is growing. And our aim is basically to take this 55% to around 80% in a very as soon as possible. So this is the first use case basis that the objective is to increase the sign-up rate to 60% of total installs, and the increase in do-it-yourself accounts to 20% of the users signing up. So if you see the below data, this data belongs to the mobile app, wherein month on month, I'll talk on the 6 months average figures, right? So all the people who install our mobile app, okay, almost 63% of them take no further actions. Okay, they just install and probably they uninstall later on. Okay, out of them, total 22.4% people actually sign up for an account opening. Okay, where sign up means basically they fill in their details, basic details like name, number, city, all those things. Then 8.48% people move ahead. They submit OTP, they give their email ID, all those things. Then only 2.72% of these people upload the relevant documents, whatever the documents are required, and Aadhaar, all these things. 2.64% of the people fill their personal details. And finally, only 0.77% of the accounts are activated. So this is all, the base is the number of installs, right? And then these percentages are calculated. So looking at this data, the answers for which we are looking for, the questions, I've just listed down below. So these are a few of these, the questions which need to be answered. That how can we increase the sign up to install ratio? That's the one question. Second is how to push the customer to next stages, post signups. Because if you see there is a huge amount of drop post signups. So how can we reduce that drop and push more and more people go ahead? And we need to also answer this, try to find an answer to why do customers drop off after signing up, and how to stop that leakage. What can we do to stop that leakage? So this is the first use case. Now helping the do-it-yourself investors getting started, so what would be the best handholding experience? So this is our second use case, right? So this use case starts once the customer is actually onboarded. So the customer has opened the account, he's our client now, and now this journey starts. So the objective of this use case is basically to increase the login rate to 80% of total accounts and increase the active customers to 40%. Right. So now if you just look at the below data, I'll again talk on the last row, that is the 6 months average. So whatever amount of clients who actually open an account with us, people open an account with us. So out of that, only 52% of these clients actually log in our app. Rest of them, rest 48% do not even log in into our app. Right. 18% of these total clients, they actually trade. They place a trade. This trade is placed both online also, offline also. That's 18%, right? Then traded percentage as of logged in. So 35% of the people, right, they trade who log in. So basically, just to help you understand, it's 18 divided by 52. That's 35%. So 35% of the people who log in, they trade. Only 12% of the people trade through mobile app. So 18% are traded, 12% are trading through mobile app. So the difference which is there, of 6%, that is an offline trade. So traded on mobile app as a percentage of login. So out of 52%, 23% people only trade on a mobile app. And if you take the total percentage traded on mobile app as of total traded, that is 66%. So here our target is that we need to increase the login rate to 80%. So currently, which is 52, it should be at least 80. I don't see why our customer, if he has opened an account with us, he has got associated with us, why should he not log in into our mobile app? So that should go to at least 80%. And this 23%, which you see traded on mobile app as percentage of login, which is only 23%, we need to take this up to 40%. So all the people who log in, right, we want 40% of these people at least to trade through mobile app, which currently is only 23%. So when you look at this data, now there are some questions which need to be answered. Why do customers not log in on the mobile app post account opening, and what can be done to improve this? How can we make these people log into our mobile app? How do we increase the number of traded customers out of the logged in customers? So all the people who log in, why don't they trade them? If they're logged in, why don't they trade? They have anyways got associated with us, opened an account with us to invest, right? So to trade, right? So, but then they're not. So why and how to increase that? And the last one would be how to increase the mobile app adoption among traded customers. So overall, this increase the login rate of 80%. So only 52% are logging in, right? So how to increase the adoption of this mobile app in the customers? So that's our second use case. So this was all the data which I wanted to show you, give you a background. I hope that this data has given you a perspective as to firstly why have we come up with these use cases, and I hope the data has also shown you that yes, there is a huge scope of improvement. The market, the industry, the statistics related to mobile, internet, whatever. So everything is supporting us. So that's the reason we have come up with these use cases, and we want to go ahead with this. So I'm done with the presentation and the data. We can take the questions now.
Thank you, Apurva. So we have a couple of questions that have come in. I'll just read them out so you can address them. Is social listening solutions, is that going to be relevant for Motilal Oswal in terms of what you're looking for?
Is social listening?
Yes.
Well, if at all it helps us, see, I cannot term anything as it can be helpful or not at this stage. You can come back to me as to how can it help us. There's no, it's not that we are against anything. So, however, as far as my understanding is concerned, when you talk about social listening, I hope what the person who has asked the question, he means that by social listening, probably we'll be able to judge or get some data about the client, his likes, dislikes, his persona, and all those things. So that's a good thing, but the point is that how can we utilize it to our benefit? So if it can be utilized, yes, why not?
Right. So basically, for the attendees, there's no, restriction in terms of how you want to approach the use case, as long as it shows results. So
Of course, yeah.
Propose, yeah. So you can propose, and it will be reviewed, and feedback will be given accordingly. So we have a next question. Would you also be able to provide data of signups versus funds deposited?
Yeah, we can give it similar way, the way we have shown the data in terms of percentages. Yeah, of course.
Okay, so this was by Saurabh. Saurabh, I will collect the data from Motilal Oswal and have it sent to you. Next question is
normally, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
normally, there is no difference between, I'll just show you. In this slide, if you see this 18%, so normally it will not be, it will be in a range of 18 to 20%. The funds wallet data. See, normally a person who puts in the funds will trade. A person who doesn't want to trade will not put in the funds. So it should be somewhere around here only. There won't be much of a difference between this and that data. But still, yeah, if you want, I'm sure Parth can provide some analysis.
Sure. Our next question is by Chandrasekhar, who wants to know if there's any study or analysis that's been conducted to understand why maybe potential customers are dropping off at stage 1.
We did, frankly, we did certain studies, but to be very frank, those were not that insightful. So I won't say that we have any kind of huge analysis on that, because we tried to do a study. To be very frank, the only option we had to do that study was through surveys, and the sample sizes were frankly very small, and hence we couldn't reach to a conclusion as to what exactly is the problem. By the way, if at all we already knew what the problem was, we wouldn't have needed your help, in the first place.
We have the next questions. Are you currently using any chatbots for lead generation?
Yeah, we do. We have chatbots on our website, and yeah, we do.
Next question. What is the segregation of users? I think you already addressed this. What is the segregation of users onboarded through mobile app and users onboarded through website? You've already given us, but anything you want to add?
I didn't get the question. Segregation in terms of what?
Segregation is percentage of, say, out of the 100 people that are onboarded in a month, what percentage of them are onboarded through the app and what percentage are onboarded through to your website?
It would be, I would say 80-20. So 80 would be mobile app and 20 would be website.
Jagat has a question here. He's also a customer of yours. Any thoughts of streamlining the investor and trader apps is what he asks.
That's an ongoing process. The word he has used, streamlining, yes. Well, by the way, it's an ongoing process. We day in, day out keep giving updates. I think if he's a customer, he must know. I think recently we have pushed the update just 4 days back. So it's an ongoing process. Nothing has stopped and nothing stops. So we keep improving ourselves. We keep taking feedback from the clients. We do go through the reviews we get on our apps very seriously. And we try to improve things in the app and streamline things in the app. So that's an ongoing process. Yeah, we do.
Okay. So next question is from Varghese, who wants to know, so do you want the solution from a business recommendation perspective or a technology solution, or doesn't matter?
Well, we need it from both the perspectives. And I believe that since digital plays such a big role in terms of everything, let it be client onboarding or even the business, the revenue generation and trading. So technology, without technology, I don't believe without technology it is possible. So there needs to be some kind of a technological solution too, attached. Otherwise, so I believe both. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I think Shishupal wants to add something.
Yeah. So basically, what I would say, Basil, there, that definitely, as Apurva mentioned, technology solution definitely is required. So I will just tell it together that we need technology solution for the need that we have been asking for. So the end outcome would be business results, but it will be done through the medium of technology. So we need both, basically.
Thank you. We have a question from Sunil. Is there any psychometric study of customers that you've done or is available to share?
No, unfortunately, no. Not done any kind of psychometric study.
So I think I just wanted to understand when we say psychometric, is it through the mobile app, through some server? What do we mean by that when we say psychometric analysis?
This question was from Sunil. So Sunil, if you can drop us a comment on, from what particular perspective you want to know, then we can take it as a follow-up. Saurabh has a question on the next stages or the next step of the Makathon. Saurabh, I will address that before we close this session. In the meantime, we'll take questions of the use cases. Sunil wants to know if the system design needs to be revisited for better app performance. Will you be open for it?
Yeah. Yes, we'll be open for it. Any changes, or we are open for the changes, provided, of course, I mean, I'm pretty sure that whoever comes up with the changes will have some certain logical reasoning behind that and certain data or certain statistics to prove that, that why should we go ahead with it, right? So if he has a proper backing, yeah, of course, we are ready to.
Next question is from Anil, who is curious to know if Motilal Oswal is planning to be in discount broking.
No, we are not.
So I think we've covered almost all the questions that have come in. Any more from the audience, please put it in the Q&A or the chat section, and we'll be able to address it. In the meantime, Saurabh, to answer your question, so we have the startup registrations that are open until 5th of September. After that, we'll have about 10 days that's going to be taken to review each one of them. So we'll let you know which ones are the shortlisted startups by, say, 14th of September, along with which we will also provide you a pitch template, which will basically, give you guidelines and give you a framework while you're to put together your pitch for the final demo day, which is on 20th of September. So those will be the next steps. And at each point, you will be getting email communication from the NASSCOM team. Chandrasekhar has a question. Is the number significantly different from the industry averages?
Yes. Yes, I would say yes. And I would also accept the word significantly. However, that's the worrying factor, to be very frank. The numbers are significantly different because there are two different types of players in the broking industry. One is the discount broking company, and one is someone like us who is a full service broker. I don't know if you guys know the difference among that, but there's a huge difference among the services offered by a full service broker and a discount broker. However, both the use cases which we have are completely based on technology and the digital platforms, right? So I don't see the what to say, the type of broker or pricing should matter here to that extent, to that such a large extent. So yes, answer yeah.
Okay. So we have another question that's come in. if you can give us maybe an overview of what is currently being employed to push customers to go digital. Do you give any offers for signups?
Well, we have, yeah, I think this question, there are two different questions. One is asked by Sunil, I guess, and one is asked by Shagun. So we give offers. We do a lot of things to get customers on our digital platforms and push them to the digital mode. So right from onboarding a client to that client trading in, right? So while onboarding, of course, there are a lot of offers which are being offered to the client to get onboarded. We do a lot of digital marketing activities from wherein we do our lead generation, wherein we give them a lot of offers, and that's how we try to get people on our eKYC platform first of all. And once a customer becomes, once a prospect becomes a customer, post that, then we have a set of communications through various modes. It can be an email or SMS or WhatsApp or mobile notifications. So there are lots of different modes through which we try to communicate with these clients. Try to send them relevant communications. Try to send them as much as possible personalized communications, which can help us push these people on the digital platform to basically transact. Yeah, we do use all these things. So we have offers and we use all the possible platforms to communicate with these clients. We use a lot of different kind of content. Let it be in terms of notifications, let it be in terms of emails, everything. We also have different kinds of offerings. As I just told you that a lot of players in the industry have started educating the clients. So yeah, we also have a lot of, if you visit our site, there's a section called as EduMo. So it is basically education MO, so EduMo. So that's it's a freemium kind of a model wherein we have more than 250 videos there, so which can help these people, these new investors, learn more about the stock markets in a very simple language. And after that, we also have a paid version of that. So yeah, we have a lot of, so in short, content is also there. So content also plays a very big role in here. We do all these things.
A follow-up question from Sunil on this on the previous one: which monetary and non-monetary offers are most prominent? What works best that you've seen?
Well, I think both of them work, to be very frank, but both of them, it depends upon at what stage a customer is in. While opening an account, when it comes to the prospect, I believe that non-monetary works. Basically, to be very frank, non-monetary works. There are a lot, the customers who are coming in, they are actually looking out for returns, right? They are looking out for investing. And they're looking out for learning and then investing and making some good money out of it, right? So returns. So these are the three things. So if any broker is able to provide that good educational platform and good research, which can help them earn good returns, so that's what matters. I think people are looking out for that. So previously, I think someone asked a question. So yeah, when I said that we couldn't couldn't place our finger on a specific problem. We did a lot of surveys amongst our existing clients. And this was one of the things, by the way, which was found out that yes, people value all these things more than any monetary offers.
Sure, thank you. Yes, they also want to know.
And by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you again. By the way, this is the only reason why Motilal Oswal is not a discount broker and probably will never be one. So, because price is not a factor. For a serious investor, returns matters more than any kind of offers, monetary offers and whatnot.
Okay, I think I have a question from Sunil, but Sunil, I'm going to let you, you can unmute your mic and ask your question, please. I think you should now. Sunil, if you're audible, you can unmute and please ask your question. I think he's having some connectivity issues. To all of the attendees, if you have any follow-up questions, even beyond the session, please feel free to write to me. My name is Inchara. I've already been in touch with you. I'll also drop in my email in the chat section. So we'll have it relayed to the Motilal Oswal team and get back to you. So we do have a couple of minutes left. Any last queries? Please do let us know. Type it in the chat section or the Q&A. So I think we've covered quite a few questions that came in. So we are okay to wrap up. Any last words from the Motilal Oswal team? Please go ahead.
I think I've said enough. Anybody else from the team?
I would only say a couple of things, bro, that, please do not restrict yourself or don't get biased with a particular thing. We are open to everything. Any solution that you would propose or you would suggest to us, we would want to evaluate that. And if it fits well with us, we definitely want to work with that. So please do not restrict yourself. If you have an idea, if you have a solution, please feel free to share that with us. We are open to that.
Adding to Shishupal, we are open with any technology. So you can suggest, any best technology, this increase the number. So we are open with that as well.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so I think we're good to wrap up. Like we said, the follow-up steps will be once the registrations close on 5th September, you will hear back from us by 14th September. And we'll also share with you the guidelines for the final demo day on 20th. In the meantime, I've dropped my email address in the chat section. Please feel free to reach out to me in case of any queries. So thank you to all of you for attending, and a big thank you to the Motilal Oswal team for bringing in this offer for the startups. And one big highlight that I want to make here is the prize money that the team is offering. We have 2 winners and 2 runner-ups that will be picked for each of the use cases, with 5 lakhs for the winner and 2.5 lakhs for the runner-up. So I think it's a very good incentive for us to work towards.
Yeah. And then I would just add to that, that it is not only the prize money. We want a long-term partnership. So we are really looking for people who can come up with solutions, and we want to get into that partnership, which is a very long-term thing. So definitely prize money is there, but the partnership, come together. If we are going to co-create new things, it's going to be really, really exciting for all of us.
Our last question has just come in from Sunil. He wants to know, can he get a work contract? In what ways will they be able to work in this long-term partnership? Or, will that be dependent on the solution itself? Any thoughts on that, Shishupal?
I think it would start with, the solutions that would come in, and then probably from there we can take it up and see, what type of contract we need to get into. Apurva, if you want to add anything there, but it will start from the solutions or the thoughts that come in. Yeah.
Well said, rightly. It will obviously start with the solution for our use case, which is there currently, and of course it depends upon the expertise of the agency or the startup, whatever it is, as to what expertise it has. If that expertise, we believe that it is going to help us in the long run, then we will have a long-term partnership. See, I'm sure all of you know that technology, the business environment, all the things keeps changing, right? This is very, very dynamic. So if you guys have that kind of offerings or the expertise which can help us, you can support us throughout, in the coming years also. So why not?
Yeah, so I think we can wrap up now. So we'll be in touch with the startups on the next steps through email. Thank you so much once again to the Motilal Oswal team.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Inchara. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Bye.